Hello and welcome to another edition of PaynePoints of Interest, where we talk about and answer questions relating to all things in small business. So grab your coffee, sit back, and join us as we start this discussion. All right, I'm Sarah Harbuck, and with me is Ray Coleman. How's it going?
We're doing all right.
And Megan Harbuck, our producer, is also chiming in this week.
I'm chiming in always.
We're going to finish out this week kind of doing things a little differently, where we answer questions that are more personal, about our personal experience and our knowledge. And today's question is, do we have any tips or tricks that help us be more productive, more efficient in our daily lives, in our work, whatever that case may be? Ray, what do you do that kind of keeps you on track?
This is kind of the vein of the whole week this week has been about what you do to really de-stress yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, we're talking about anxiety and how to handle it for the most part. And this is a prime example of when an intuitive idea is actually not that helpful. So if you have a big project, the first thing you want to do is gather everything up and get everything neat together and get after it as fast as you can. And that can oftentimes lead to you working slower because you are so put upon by the enormity of the task that you just can't put your head around it. You can't get your arms around it. And you end up basically not doing anything.
Yeah.
When a better solution to that would be to break it down immediately. In other words, rather than start trying to work, start trying to plan. So start making lists, start making checklists, start giving yourself reachable goals, start making deadlines. And there's no work being accomplished that first day. You didn't actually do anything, but now you're ready to start and you're not going to be overwhelmed by it because you know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
So the first thing you want to do when you want to hurry up is slow down.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the fault of a lot of people, myself included, can be to rush into things. I'm a list maker, and I utilize the app called Trello. It's like a little, it's like sticky notes, but virtually. Where you can move these little cards around. You've made lists, you made checklists. You can have different columns of different things you're doing. And I work best off of that because then I can go, well, I need to get these 3 things done specifically today. They have a deadline for today. And, and then, and even though the Trello board may have 26 things on it, those 3 are very specific to today. So it doesn't feel so overwhelming like you were talking about.
Yeah,
you're taking things in small chunks.
It's crucially important, and it's not just for like big projects. It's for everyday
life. Yes,
everyday life. Just make a list, make a checklist. Mm-hmm. You're like, okay, I have to do the grocery shopping. I've got to get the car inspected, and I have to
pick up the dry cleaning.
Pick up the dry cleaning. So, well, what are the small pieces of that task? Well, before I get the car inspected, I need to check my oil, and I also need to check my tire pressure, and need to go ahead and put gas in it. If I put gas in it, then I'll be ready to pick up the laundry later on. Things like that. Like break it down as much as you possibly can. Like take time with it. We're not talking about just a quick list. Like actually sit down, pen and paper, or what have you, and really think about it. You say, well, that takes too much time. I said, no, it's actually saving you a lot of time.
Yeah. And people talk about power naps. I feel like you could do power working blocks where you do these little bursts of 30 minutes where you work and you stay focused on your task. And then you give yourself a 5 or 10 minute break to get up from your desk or whatever you do, walk around, go do something for a second, just sort of change your mindset. Some people are like, no, when I get into a groove, I need to keep going. But and you got to know yourself. But for me personally, especially when I used to sit and edit photos for days and days on end for weddings and different events and things, I would get I would have to do small blocks of time because if I sat there and worked on pictures over and over and over again, I would start to get kind of lazy, and I wouldn't be as precise, and I wouldn't be as particular, and I wouldn't be as perfectionist about it.
And 30 minutes of efficient work is better than 3 hours of lackadaisical.
I would get a wedding and an event
it.
edited within a couple of days max, because I was working in these small little bursts, and I could get so much more done in that small amount of time that was good quality work than stretching it out over half of a day without getting up and doing, taking a break. So for me personally, that has worked wonders for my just work ethic, and it's made me more efficient and more productive. Now, granted, everybody's brain works differently, so that may not always work for somebody else. But if you're like me, that's gonna maybe change your life.
No, it absolutely could. It absolutely could. Like, people have written books about, the power of kind of thinking outside the box of what's normally said.
Yeah.
It's like I remember years ago when Facebook was just starting to get big, people were doing this whole thing where they're like, corporations would ban Facebook. No one in the company used Facebook. Well, they found out that banning Facebook slowed everything down.
Yeah.
So once they put Facebook back in, a person would work and then
take a 5-minute break.
A 5-minute, 10-minute break on Facebook and come back, and they will work twice as fast because now they've reset.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
there's something to be said about it.
It's something to be said about it.
Yeah. Megan, what do people your age do when it comes to something like that? Productive, efficient tips for life.
So, excuse me. I mean, I'm the same way. I make a list. That's pretty important to me. But what I'll do is, if I know I have a lot of things in the day, I have a notes app on my phone, and I'll put it all down, even if it's like something as simple as taking a shower. Okay, I need to take a shower. I need to eat. I need to do this. I need to go to the bank. I need to, all those things. No matter how small they are, I put it in the list, so that way I'm constantly checking off, and it's not just, I have these 3 big things I need to do.
Right.
And then while I do them, I typically listen to a podcast, because while music is helpful, listening to a podcast, for some reason, because it's a continuing story, I guess you could say, it keeps me more, like, I have to be, when I've worked at jobs where I wasn't allowed to listen to music or podcasts, my productivity went really heavily down, because I'm one of those people that has to be doing a few things at once. I have to be listening to music while I do social media posting. I need to be listening to a podcast as I run errands. Otherwise, I feel like I get bored. I get lazy. Like, I need to have multiple things going on at once. Not everybody is like that, but I would say that a majority of the people in my age...
It keeps the fire stoked, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, to that end, you're not describing multitasking. You just have different things going on that are keeping you on task.
Yeah,
You're
I
staying
would say
on
so.
task. Multitasking, guys, is a skill that me and Sarah's generation were told we have to cultivate. We have to be able to do more than one task at the same time, but we get things done more
efficient. Gotta have all those plates spinning in the air at the same time.
That is a lie. Okay? That is an absolute lie. You do not have to multitask. Multitasking is bad. What you want to do is one thing at a time. Get that thing done, and move on to the next thing. Do not multitask.
You're going to do all the tasks very poorly if you're doing several at one time. You just are.
The number of people in this world that can multitask effectively can be counted on one hand.
Probably, yeah.
Guys, multitasking is not a skill that has to be cultivated, because doing one task doesn't take nearly as long as doing 10 tasks, no matter how efficient you are about it.
I used to tell people all the time, they're like, oh, you homeschool and you run a business and you do this and you do that. I was like, oh my God, you're Superwoman. And I was like, no, because I don't do all of those things well.
you just, the only way to do all that well is do it one at a time.
Right.
So in other words, a person, like, I homeschool as well. I homeschool, I cook, I work and all this.
You gotta focus on
how
that.
You do it?
Yeah.
Say, when it's time to work,
I work.
I ain't parenting right now.
Right.
Say, would you need something? You better go find somebody to get it for you, because I'm not going to get it for you. I'm busy.
Yeah.
If I'm cooking, hey, get out of my kitchen. Well, I'm hungry. I don't care. I'm cooking. Like, I have to focus.
Yeah.
Do one thing right. Don't try and do 10 things
Half-assed,
correctly,
yeah.
because it's not going to happen.
No.
You're just going to stress yourself out, And even if you get those things done, by the end of it, you're so tired you can't do anything after that.
Yeah. Or you're so mentally exhausted from all the
Yes.
mind tricks you've had to do to get yourself through the day. I just, I think we do a disservice to kids today by telling them, you do all these things and be so accomplished. And, like you said, focus on one task. Do it well, move on to the next one. Because if you give, your all to that one task for, a set amount of time, you're going to complete it pretty quickly.
I cannot tell you how much of my working life was made miserable
by multitasking.
By trying to multitask.
Yes.
Once I figured out that I had been bamboozled and I had to do one thing, what happens when people are like, oh, wow, you got all that done. Great job. Way to multitask. Like, yeah, I didn't do that.
No.
I did not multitask.
I did this one thing for this amount of time.
I did one thing, and then I
did the
finished
next
it.
thing. Yeah. I think I think that's probably if anybody takes anything away from today, don't multitask. That's going to make you the most efficient and productive. You're working smarter, not harder. Like do this one thing, finish it, move on to the next thing.
Anytime that you can focus and accomplish, one, you're going to feel better.
Yes.
Because even if you didn't get the entire thing done, you accomplished something, and that's going to make you feel a million times better than doing a little bit.
Accomplishing one thing than doing 10 things halfway is going to be better than
because you'll have 10 half-finished jobs rather than no one finished job.
Right. Yeah. I think that's a good ending point for this week. We've been highlighting a local business, Loud House CrossFit. Here at PaynePoints, we really want to support small businesses, especially local businesses right now in this time. You can find them on any social media at Loud House CrossFit. Their website is loudhousecrossfit.com. Their physical location is 205 East Frank Street in Lufkin, Texas. And they are a health and physical fitness wellness center, as they say in their title, CrossFit. If that's your thing, you should give them a shout out, a check out. And use their services if that's is something you're interested in. We will continue to feature local businesses as the weeks go by. We feel like it's just something good to do and put some goodwill out into the community. And we're all in this together, and we've got to lift each other up during stressful times. So I think that's going to wrap us up. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. And as always, if you guys have any questions or comments or want to add to today's topic, please hit us up on our social media, PaynePoints.com. Facebook and LinkedIn at PaynePoints, Instagram at Payne.points, and Twitter at PointsPayne. You can now call or text us at 855-PAYNEPT. That's 855-729-6378. Well, we hope everybody has a great day, a great week, and now let's get to work.
Let's get after it.
Stay safe, everyone.